Hello everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of Sean's Movie Crusades. My name is Sean Wasserkrug, and I'm here to review all the latest films in theaters and streaming, as well as anything you guys recommend, whether it be recent films or old school movies. Before we get into today's review, don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button to the channel, so that way you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos that pop up. And also don't forget to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. Now today's review is going to be one that I have actually been super excited for. I did come out with a most anticipated movies of 2019 list, but sadly, like literally the day after I had filmed that video, the first trailer for this film came out. And if I had just filmed that video just a little bit later, this would have been on that list. And that is Jordan Peele's sophomore attempt of directing the movie Us. And yeah, so everyone knows Jordan Peele. I mean, whether it's from Key and Peele, which is easily one of the best comedy comedy shows out there with Key and Peele. I mean, they're hilarious, and it was so sad to see them end the show. To him popping up on movies and TV guest spots and stuff like that. I mean, him and Key are actually going to be in Toy Story 4. For anyone who's seen the trailers, they are the duck and bunny. I think it's a bunny. In the Toy Story 4 trailer. But yeah, Jordan Peele definitely getting out there, especially with 2 years ago's Get Out, which was one of the biggest films of 2017. It was even nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars, as well as Daniel Kaluuya being nominated for Best Actor. So everyone was real excited for his second film to see if he was going to have a sophomore slump, or if he was really going to excel in his second attempt as being a director. So he had a lot riding on this film overall, and judging just from the trailers that we saw from this movie looks insane, and easily vaulted right up to one of my most anticipated movies of the year. So I was super excited to see this, and I went in blind. I know a lot of people have been reading ahead on certain things from reviewers who have got to see the movie early and stuff like that. But I'm telling you right now, the best way to go into this movie is as cold as you possibly can without knowing anything about the film overall, which is also going to kind of handicap this review a little bit. I'm going to try to go over as much as I can, but the best aspect of this is to not go too far into the film itself. So I'm going to try to watch myself as I'm going over the review, so that way I don't give stuff away, and kind of make sure you guys go in as cold as possible so you can enjoy the film to its full expectations. Two other big names that are in this film also that a lot of people were keeping their eye on is Lupita Nyong'o. Many people know her from 12 Years a Slave, and of course last year's Black Panther. And then Winston Duke, who also from last year's Black Panther, who played M'Baku, who was easily one of my favorite parts of that film. So seeing him in something else outside of Black Panther or Avengers Infinity War, because he was in that also, I was real excited because I really wanted to see what he could do in a different style of role, because literally the only thing I've seen him as is M'Baku. And even though I love the M'Baku character, I really wanted to see what Winston Duke could do in another role. And Lupita is amazing in her own right. I mean, she, like I said, 12 Years a Slave, Star Wars, Jungle Book. I mean, she does fantastic work in everything she's in. So I knew she was going to knock it out of the park going into the film. So this whole film overall, between the trailer, the cast, and obviously the director of Jordan Peele, made me super excited for the film overall. So let's go ahead and get into it. The plot that I can give as basic as it can be, and that is based off of the trailers. So everything I'm saying here is in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything, except for this little tiny tidbit, but this is literally how the movie opens up. Is we open up to excuse me, still trying to get over that damn cough that I can't get rid of. The movie opens up in 1986 with a mother, father, and a young daughter at a boardwalk fair kind of thing, with carnival games and all that stuff. And then in the midst of everything, the little girl wanders off and goes into a strange fun house off the boardwalk on the beach. And in the process of being in the fun house, she sees her doppelganger. And because of that, it really affects her emotionally, and to the point where she doesn't speak for a good long time, and it has made her very wary of everything in her life. Thus, fast forwarding to present day, that young girl is actually our main character of the film, which is Lupita Nyong'o's character, Adelaide. Adelaide, I never can say that name proper. Adelaide, I think that was the right way. So that is the main character as a little girl we saw in the beginning of the film. And basically what's going on is her husband, played by Winston Duke, his name's Gabe, and they're two young adolescent children, played by Shahadi Wright Joseph. Sorry if I said that last name incorrectly. And Evan Alex, they play Zora and Jason. They're all going to their summer house, which is also, I'm guessing, is Adelaide's old family home. But it's right where the events of 1986 happened. So Adelaide's very on edge about the whole situation because she has obviously never gotten over what happened to her, 33 years ago. Sorry, but she also has not told her family either. So there's just this, she's real on edge. She's real uncomfortable with everything. And of course, they have friends there. This white family that goes by the Tylers, Elizabeth Moss from Handmaid's Tale, and then Tim Heidecker from Eric and Tim, and then they've got two teenage twins, which surprisingly is an Easter egg. I found this out, and anyone who's a Friends fan of the TV show Friends, the twins in this movie, and I don't have any pictures of them, so I can't really post them on the video, but the twins in this film are actually the actresses that played Ross and Rachel's baby in Friends. So neat little Easter egg for your Friends fans out there. I was actually shocked when I saw that, and I thought that was really cool. Most people probably wouldn't give a crap about it. But anyway, we go back to the main story, and later that night, they're back at home, and there are four figures standing in the driveway, and basically chaos ensues, and we find out that the four figures are actually doppelgangers of the family. And that is literally all I can say about the film. That is all in literally the first 15, maybe 20 minutes of the movie. Everything after that, you gotta go in cold. But yeah, so that's the general plot of the film. Sounds like a lot, but literally it's only like the first 15, 20 minutes of the movie. But yeah, so what actually works with us? The cast overall is great to watch. Lupita is a tour de force in this film, playing as both Adelaide and her doppelganger, who they actually have names. I don't ever recall hearing their names at all in the actual film, but they have names according to the cast list, and hers was Red. She does such an amazing job playing both these characters. You have Adelaide, who's obviously going through a trauma from her young age, to going back to the place where the trauma happened and having it affect her, but also not trying to let anyone know about the incident, to when everything actually happens and then her having to go into full-on mom mode to try to protect her family when these doppelgangers, and they're actually in the movie called The Tethered, so I'm going to start calling them The Tethered instead of doppelgangers, to her having to try to protect her family from The Tethered. And I'm not going to explain why they're called The Tethered, though, so just know that I'm saying it, but I'm not going to explain it. But she just, one of the best scenes of Lupita in this movie is when she's literally having to act against herself. Her one-on-one scenes with her tethered are some of the best in the film. The first one-on-one interaction with her in the film to all the way up to the end of the film. Her one-on-ones acting against herself is amazing. And I know we've seen a lot of films where one actor is playing their twin and they're going back and forth, and there usually kind of tends to feel a little I'm blanking on the right word, but like, you know that they're acting against themselves and you're just not seeing the connection there, because you know that they're not really talking to that person. They're talking to someone standing there, but it's not really them. I'm pretty sure you guys are kind of understand what I mean. With this, it feels full on like Lupita has an actual real life twin, and they are acting against each other, and it is amazing to watch. And Lupita Nyong'o does easily the best acting job so far this year, probably rivaling James McAvoy from Glass, and it's amazing to watch her performance. And then you also got Winston Duke, who obviously we know Winston Duke, like I said, as M'Baku, playing the big, juggernaut kind of a badass character. And while his Tethered is a lot like that, his actual Gabe character, he does such a great job as because he's such a beast of a man. I mean, Winston Duke's a big guy, but he's playing like such the dorky dad in this movie, like the guy that just loves dad jokes and is just a straight up dork to his entire family, even to his wife. And he brings most of, if not almost, all the comedy in this film. And it was great to see Winston Duke actually do something a little bit different. Now, yes, he's got funny lines in Black Panther and Infinity War, but this one is on the side of you're looking at this massive guy that could just wreck shop, as we have seen, and then basically play the dorkiest guy around. But then you see his doppelganger, or his tethered, who goes by the name Abraham in the movie, and he's basically exactly how we know Winston Duke. So seeing Winston Duke had to play two sides of the table as well, being this like dorky, thinks he's a tough guy but is really not, to this just shit brick house, is also really great. And then the two children, or teenage children, Shahadi Wright Joseph and Evan Alex, do a great job as well. I will say Shahadi's tethered Umbre, she's probably the not the weakest in terms of her attributes, but she gets the least amount to do in the film itself, so she kind of is not as important of a character. But her portrayal of Zora, the original person in the film, she does a really great job. I mean, she kind of starts off the film kind of like your typical big sister teenager, where she's kind of just bitchy and she's all about being a part of her phone. But when shit starts to actually hit the fan, that's when we really start seeing Wright Joseph's acting really come into play, and she does a real great job. And Evan Alex does it's kind of a reverse. Him as Jason is all right. It's not bad, but I mean, he's kind of playing reserved. But his portrayal as Pluto, the tethered version of Jason, wow. What he does in terms of movement and saying and doing so much without saying anything, because every one of the tethered outside of Red doesn't really speak. They kind of just more grunt like a caveman. But Pluto is easily the second best performance of the film, behind Lupita Nyong'o's Adelaide in Red. And Evan Alex, this kid does a great job being the tethered version of Pluto. The cast it's just great all around, and the chemistry between all four of them it makes that family believable. And it makes you worry about their safety. But one great thing that they do, and this is a huge bonus for Jordan Peele, is that in terms of horror films, and everyone knows when it comes to horror films how stupid people act in these movies. Like, oh, they go to this room, they shouldn't. They should run away. They should do this, but they don't do it, or they randomly trip, or the stuff that really irks a lot of people, and me especially in horror films nowadays, because people should just be smarter now, but they do stupid stuff. These people aren't stupid. in this movie. They go full on in the flight or fight mode, and they're fighters, including the children. Once they get over that initial fear of what's going on and their and their fight response kicks in, these people, or this family, they're fighters. And it is shit or get out the pot time when this stuff hits the fan, and they are ready to go. And they are not going to be stopped, and they are not going to be scared. And while it does bring some comedic elements to the film itself, I love how clever and smart the actual family is when dealing with the situations of the tethered, because, I mean, there's one part near the end of the movie where I kind of think that two characters should have done something a little different, but that's nitpicking at that point. But throughout the movie, this family is clever. They don't do any stereotypes, except for maybe in the very beginning before everything starts happening. But they are clever. Excuse me. They're clever the entire time, and they're very smart to watch, which makes you believe them more as characters, because they don't do the traditional normal stupid stuff. And also, Jordan Peele doesn't do the traditional normal jump scares. There are certain parts of the film where you are waiting for a jump scare to happen, and Jordan Peele doesn't give it to you. Not to say that there aren't jump scares in the film throughout, but there are moments where you're like, alright, something's going to happen, and he's like, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give you that, because you guys are expecting it. I'm going to give it to you later when you've gotten relaxed and you're not thinking it's going to happen, and then I'll punch you right in the face with a jump scare. Which goes into now Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele's direction in this film is incredible. He does not have a sophomore slump in this. He does a fantastic job, whether it's the story, the visuals, the score of this movie is fantastic all the way through, and it is almost its own character in the movie as well. They're all amazing. This further just proves just how incredible Peele is as a director, and makes me super excited for whatever else he does from now on. He's going to be starting to do The Twilight Zone, which is going to be on CBS All Access. I don't have CBS All Access, so that sucks. But knowing that he's going to be in charge of that can only mean fantastic things. If he does anything in The Twilight Zone that he has done with this film or Get Out, The Twilight Zone is going to be amazing. And like I said, I just love the way he directed this film. Whether it's the visuals of how he shoots certain things, the way he has the camera set up for certain scenes, to the colors that he uses in certain aspects. And just the general layout. And then, like I said, the dialogue and the acting and the back and forth. He does a fantastic job overall as a director. And Jordan Peele, once again, no sophomore slump for him in this film as he knocks this one out of the park. Another thing about the film overall is that, and this can either be a good thing or a bad thing for certain people, because there are ways people watch films. They want either it like clear cut, right at you, I don't want to have to think about it, just show me. And then there are people who actually want to unravel the film and dissect it and come with more meanings and stuff like that. And this can kind of go both ways. There's a ton of symbolism and metaphors in this film that can lead to many discussions about the movie itself, that I really can't talk about because of spoilers. But there's many different layers, whether it be about social culture of today or other things. Like I said, can't go too far into it, but there's a lot of things you can dissect about this movie that's not just about the movie, but about the grander scale or the grander picture of everything. This movie does deserve to be seen multiple times. I've only seen it the one time, but I cannot wait to see this movie 2 to 3 more times to kind of see what I missed on the first viewing, or just to see things in a different aspect. Because one part in particular is the way... Well, I'm going to hold on to that little part, and I'll bring it up later. But this leads to a lot of discussion. So, like I said, while there are many layers in this film overall that can lead to many discussions, fans out there might not like that. They might want just a clear-cut film that just explains everything, leaves no questions unanswered, and just lays everything all out on the table. So, to people like that, you might not be as enjoyed of this film as people who want that extra stuff to think about and mull over once the movie's over. But I think those people who don't like those things will still enjoy the movie overall, because it does do a good enough job to explain a lot of things Yes, there are a lot of unanswered questions in the film overall based off of the story that we get, but I also don't think that's going to derail your mindset or detract how you feel about the film overall. Yes, there might be some people who it rubs the wrong way in certain respects, and especially the guy that I was sitting next to. He clearly was just not paying attention or getting things to the point where I actually had to explain it to him in little quick moments. But that's mainly because he wasn't paying attention to the film. And so the first thing he says when the movie was over was, "That was whack." It's like, no, it wasn't. You just weren't paying attention to the movie. Because he was too busy trying to be on his phone and trying to pick up this girl sitting next to him. It's like, dude, I to this day, side rant, I cannot understand why people Snapchat pictures of the movie for Snapchat. If you guys can explain that to me, please do, because I think it's the dumbest, not gonna cuss, it is the dumbest damn thing, unless you think damn's a cuss word, that I have ever seen. There was at least like 7 people in my theater that as soon as the movie started rolling, pulled up their Snapchat and took a picture of it going, "Oh, I'm at us." Who the hell cares? Once the lights go dark, shut up, turn off your damn phones, and watch the damn movie. There's no if you can't make it through a 2-hour film without grabbing your phone, then don't waste the money to go see a movie. Because frankly, the people that are actually there to see the movie don't want you there. Because I don't want to see your phone. And this guy kept pulling out his phone and texting and doing all this stuff. And then when he wasn't paying attention, him going, "What happened? I don't understand. That makes no sense. This is stupid." It's like, no, it doesn't. For you, because you're not paying attention. But for everyone else who's watching this movie, we're kind of understanding what the hell's going on. Sorry for the side rant, but that was just really irking me. That, and he had no concept of personal space because he kept leaning into my chair and I basically was having to sit like this the entire time. Anyway, metaphors and symbolism in the movie. There's a lot of them. But if you don't catch them, it doesn't make the movie bad or worse. It just gives more layer to the viewing experience for everybody that I personally would have loved. And I sadly had to watch this by myself. I would have loved to have gone with a group of friends to see this, so that way when the movie was over, we could have actually talked about it and discussed it and broke it down and all that, because there's so much to talk about when it comes to this movie that I just wasn't able to do. So I just kind of had to come home and just kind of digest it myself and kind of write it all down so I could talk to you guys about it. I would have loved to have sat there and talked about it with the group. So if any of you people out there who follow me and they follow me on Facebook or whatever, all of a sudden you guys watch us and you guys want to discuss the film with me, feel free to shoot me a message. I will be glad to talk about this movie with you because there's a lot to dissect when it comes to this film. But another great thing also, it blends the horror and comedy really well in the film, and it doesn't feel forced in any way. The almost sold out audience that I had in this film were energetic throughout the entire movie. Yeah, you had the occasional screamers like, "Don't go in there, don't do that," which made people laugh. I find that annoying, but it means they're having fun. And they're not, I mean, at least they're focused on the film and they're not on their phones. But the audience that I was in, the audience that I was a part of was having a fun time watching this movie. And it definitely made the experience a lot more fun. Yeah, could there have been things that I may have missed because I was distracted by the audience? Possibly. But it was a lot of fun watching it in a big group. I just didn't have anyone to talk to when the movie ended. But anyway, I will say though that the horror is kind of more of a suspense thriller kind of horror than like an actual horror movie. Yes, there are scary elements in the movie overall, but I feel like it is more on the suspense thriller side than like an actual like horror film, like a I'm not going to give examples, and that's just going to lead you guys to go, well, that's not a horror movie. So I'm not going to do that. But it is more suspense, thriller kind of horror than like your average horror film. Also, the twist at the end, because there is a twist in the movie, it's solid. It's a really solid twist, but some people can see it coming. I personally kind of figured it out about halfway to 3/4 of the way through, but when the twist did come, it was still like, all right, they actually did go with that. I wasn't just thinking just to think about it, so I was actually kind of happy that I was like, all right, cool, I actually figured it out. But like I said, the twist doesn't detract from the film overall. If you didn't see the twist coming, you're going to be shocked when it happens. If you did see the twist coming, it doesn't ruin the film as it goes just because you figured it out sooner than everybody else. There's also a potential hidden twist. I don't know if it's intended to be a twist or if I'm just reading too much into the movie. It might go unnoticed to a lot of people. I could just be completely thinking of it on my own. Actually, no, I'm not, because I have actually seen people post about this twist as well that I actually thought about. But it's not something that is as glaring or out there, like in your face, as the actual twist in the film. It's kind of something that's more subtle, that leaves up to interpretation. But one great thing about the twist itself is that going back to the film a second watch through could potentially change the dynamic of the film and how you watch it based off of how you see things. Kind of like how Hereditary, for me, was a different watch through the second time I saw it because of how the film ended. I went through it the first time watching it with this one mindset of this particular situation, but because of how the movie ended with the twist, going back a second time, it felt like an entirely different film because I was watching it in a different mindset based off of the story that I'd already known, and I feel like this has the potential of doing that as well for people who would want to go back and see it a second time. Now, what doesn't work in the movie overall? Not a whole lot. While I just talked a lot about the big things about the twist itself, I'm not 100% sold on it. And a lot of it is just more, like I said, stuff that I really can't answer, but it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, I can accept the twist, but if that is this, wouldn't this not work, or wouldn't this not happen, kind of thing. Like I said, that's just me in my head. A lot of people might not see that. A lot of people might not have a problem with that, and the twist might work brilliantly. It's just something about the twist makes me think about certain aspects of the film that I saw, and based off of the rules of the movie that I was watching, that made me go, I don't know if that is 100% thought out, or if it is, I didn't see it, which means I just didn't fully clearly catch all of the twist, or all of the explanation of the twist, and maybe that's why I don't understand it. And if you guys figured it out, and you guys discussed me with the movie, I would gladly go over it with you, and if you guys have the full explanation, please enlighten me, because I would love to actually understand the twist completely, and not have any kind of holes in it like I have right now. So if you guys have that, fantastic, let me know. Also, the whole big landscape of the whole story does have some holes in it, kind of like the twist, where I'm just like, well, wait, if you're doing this, how would this work, or why would this work, or wouldn't you just do this, kind of thing. Like I said, this is all nitpicking. This isn't anything that's so blatantly huge. They're gonna go, oh, well, no, that wouldn't work because of this. It's more or less, oh, okay, but wouldn't that not work because of this? Or wouldn't you just do this to get this point? Kind of thing. It does not hurt the movie. It does not make the movie any worse than what it actually is. Because of that, it's just more of those things where either it wasn't brought out enough in the story for you to get a clear-cut answer, so it lets your mind think, or you weren't supposed to know, or it's stuff that's going to happen probably outside of the movie. I doubt he's going to make a sequel out of this, even though I wouldn't say no to a sequel. But it could be stuff that would have happened after the film ends and further in the story that would have gotten explained, but we just didn't get it explained in the movie, and that's where my nitpicking comes in. But yeah, that's really it for all that doesn't work. There's not really a whole lot that doesn't work overall. So overall, this movie's easily, as of right now, the best film of the year. Jordan Peele knocks it out of the park, while Get Out gets a lot of recognition. I thought it was fine. But I also watched it probably about 6 months after it came out, and so I kept hearing everyone yammering, this is amazing, this is amazing, this is amazing. And I watched it, I was like, oh, okay, it's good. I liked it. I don't think it deserves all the credit that it's getting, but it's a really good film. I loved this movie. To the point where I kind of wish I gotten more out of the film. Not more out of it in terms, I wanted more of it. And I know I'm not going to get any more of it because I don't think Jordan Peele will do sequels. At least of this movie or Get Out. even though I did hear rumors that there would be a Get Out sequel. Maybe we'll get an Us sequel. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this movie. The cast, like I said, is fantastic throughout the film. Lupita Nyong'o, phenomenal in this movie. The rest of the cast is solid as well. Like I said, Evan Alex, tethered version Pluto, his physical performances of that role are incredible for a kid his age. Winston Duke, hilarious the whole way out. The direction of Jordan Peele makes it great. And I think, and all you guys that go to it are going to love this movie overall. I cannot highly recommend this movie any more than I can already do right now as to go see this film. You guys are going to have a blast. If you're not a fan of scary movies, I think you guys will still be okay with it because, like I said, it's more of a thriller, suspense horror than an actual horror. So I feel like you guys will still enjoy it throughout. Yes, will you be scared? Sure, but I think you guys will do a good job, and I think you guys would be doing a great disservice to yourselves if you guys are avoiding this movie because it's scary, instead of it you just don't think it looks like a good movie. And that's kind of the review overall. Love the film. It's easily the best film of the year. So as we go rolling into the top 10 films of 2019 so far, like I just said, obviously Us takes the number 1 slot, which takes Fighting With My Family down to number 2, followed by Captain Marvel, and then goes to How to Train Your Dragon at number 4, followed by Lego Movie 2, the second part at number 5, followed by Happy Death Day to You, then Alita Battle Angel, then The Upside, then Glass, and then The Escape Room, with Velvet Buzzsaw being bumped off the list. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review overall, and if you guys did, go ahead and hit that like button. If you feel like this review is worth sharing, go ahead and hit that share button. But most importantly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that way you guys stay up to date with all the latest reviews that pop up on the channel. And I will be telling you this right now, I will be able to see Shazam this weekend, so expect to see a review by the end of the weekend for Shazam. I'm super, super excited for that movie. I cannot wait. So seeing Us and Shazam within 3 days of each other, I'm literally so excited for that. So expect that to pop up on Sunday, or late Saturday night. It's probably going to be early Sunday morning. So be on the lookout for that. Until next time, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Movie Crusaders.